So welcome back to the next video of the tutorial, and in this video I want to go more into actually drawing graphics, like proper game graphics. Like instead of just this stupid little grid that we've drawn, I want to draw an actual terrain with textures on it. So I'm going to go more into that in this video. So first you want to come to your directory where your project is and just make a new folder, call it graphics, and in there we're going to make some little tiles, like for grass, stone, etc. You can make however many tiles you want, but for this, I've already actually made some tiles myself, and it took me a while to make them, so I'm not going to make them again, because you'd literally, this tutorial will probably go on for another hour, if you had to wait for me to create the tiles. So I'm actually just going to copy my grass, let's copy sky as well, I'll show you that. And stone and water. They're all we need for now. So I'm going to come back down here and paste them in there. And the first one is grass, and that is this, as you can see. Just a simple grass texture. It doesn't look that good, I know. It looks more like a bloody slime ball of Minecraft or something. And then that's the sky, and I'll show you what we're going to use this for soon. And then we have stone, which is here, and we have water, which is here. It's not the best again. Actually, this one we could improve this by like making this line stand out a bit more, because it's a bit difficult to see for the water. But also, what you want to make sure you do with these tiles is make sure that they're actually seamless, so that they go on forever. So you could put them next to each other, and you wouldn't notice that they're multiple tiles. They'd all look the same. So. In fact, I'll give you a little example of what I mean by seamless. So if you, let me just load up my other project. So this is an RPG I've made before, and as you can see, these tiles, they kind of like go on forever. You can't tell the difference, as they are seamless tiles. So yeah, enough of that. I'll not spoil this anymore. And that's kind of what our RPG is going to look like in the end, but obviously a bit better, because that's just my other version of it at the minute, so I'm still improving. So the next part we want to actually do is come back into our folder and create a new file called in scripts. I'm just going to make a new Python file and just call that textures.py. And we're going to open that up. And in this file, what we want to do is just import Pygame, as we're going to need that. And we're just going to initialize it again, so we need that in this file as well. I'm just going to create a new class and just call it tiles. And in here, this is where we're going to have all the tile textures, which is going to get loaded in the initialization of when the game is loaded. So what I'm going to do in here is just come into here, and I'm going to make a new variable and call that variable size. I'm going to set that equal to 32, which is our default tile size at the minute, and we're going to basically, in our other main file, we're going to, instead of using this variable, instead of using tile size, which is in our other module, we're going to change that to tiles.size. We're going to change it to this class, basically. So it's going to use this variable now instead. So this is basically all the global variables for every single tile in the game. The next one we want is to have basically we just need to define a function which is going to load our texture. So we do define load texture, and in here we just want to give it a file and a size, which is, for some reason, when I was testing this before, we need to pass through tile size into here, because for some reason, I don't know why, but it can't access it otherwise, and I'm still not sure why even today. And it was quite a while ago when I planned this out. So, but next part we want to do is actually load the texture. So we're just going to make a new variable called bitmap, and we're going to just load the file to it. So we'll do bitmap equals pygame.image.load. Then we just load the file, And the next part is to actually scale the bitmap to the size that we want, which is our tile size. So you could say your tile size texture was like a 64 by 64 image, or texture, I mean. What we need to do is scale that down. So all we do is just say bitmap equals pygame.transform.scale. And then we just scale, we want to scale the bitmap, obviously, which is this current image. I want to change that to size. And the reason why we have to put size twice is because that it wants the width and the height, but because size is the width and the height of it as a square, we just need to put it in twice for width and height. Now the next part again is to create a new surface which is hardware accelerated, which we're going to actually blit the bitmap onto, because currently when we load the file it's not hardware accelerated, and that is going to cause a few issues in our game. So what I want to do is just say surface equals pygame.surface. So we need to make a new surface, obviously, and just the size of the surface is size again. Then we want to do hardware acceleration and alpha support as well. So we're going to do pygame.hardware surface, just like we did on our window, and pygame.source alpha. And that'll just create the new surface with those flags. Now we need to actually blit the bitmap to it. So we just do surface.blit bitmap and to position 0, 0. And then we just need to return the surface, so return surface. So that function will now load us, will load an image file, a texture from the file tile. So what I'm going to do is make the actual texture variables here, and we're just going to do this now. So grass equals load texture, which is our function again. We want to load our grass image file, so that's graphics / grass.png, and we want to pass through our size, so that's just size again, as it's here, as we created it. And then we might want to load up our stone texture as well, so stone equals load texture. Let's do graphics / stone.png size. And now when we I know it gets quite a bit it's a bit of a faff having to do this for each texture, but you can see now why we needed to make this load texture, so we didn't have to type this out all these times when we're defining a new texture. So it really saves time having the load texture function. The next one is water, so we want to add water equals load texture graphics / stone dot, oh sorry, not stone, water.png png size. Brilliant, and now we've got them all loaded. So that is actually good enough at the moment in time for our textures script. So now we need to actually import this file into our main file. But I'm pretty sure you've probably noticed that we have another texture that we've not actually loaded, and that's sky. And the reason why we've not loaded this texture is because that it's this isn't for a tile, so we don't want to put it in the tiles class. This is our background, and I'm going to show you what we're going to use this for shortly. So anyway, we can now just close this out. We don't need to keep this open anymore. So hopefully we have no errors in it. And 1 minute, I think I have that folder open already. Yeah, I do. So come back into our main. We just want to import that file. So we just do from scripts.textures import all again. And now we need to see if we get any errors with that. Obviously, we're not going to see any textures loaded yet because we've not told it to display them, but we'll see anyway. And yes, we have no errors in the module we just created, and our grid is rendering correctly, it looks. So Just close out of that again. And now what we want to do is, instead of using these just regular squares, we want to actually load our textures here. So what I'm going to do is just simply draw a bunch of green grass tiles. So let's just do window dot blit. And what do we want to blit? We want to blit our grass, so we just do tiles.grass, and we're going to blit that to our X and Y position, so XY, and let's see if that loads our grass texture. Brilliant! So we have our grass texture loaded as a floor, and as you can see, it's really not even affected. If anything, our FPS has gone up, and that's because we use hardware acceleration mode on the tiles. So if we didn't use hardware acceleration, in fact I'll show you what happens if we don't. You'll see how terribly low our frame rate will go if we don't hardware accelerate it. So we just come back into our scripts and let's just take away this flag here for now and try running that again, and you will see, only 900 FPS. Oh my god, so much lower. But yeah, as you can see, it's not made a huge difference, but it's just, you can probably notice that the more tiles we want to render, it's going to make a bigger impact if we don't have hardware acceleration mode on. So it's best to always hardware accelerate your surfaces for the best possible performance. So which one is it now? It's this one. Here we go. So if I just add that flag back in again, hardware surface, if I can pipe it correctly, and that's better. Well, not yet, but yeah, that's better. Then we're getting the proper frame rate now, hardware accelerated. So yeah, we're varying from around 1030, it looks like, to 1040. Or sometimes it goes a bit lower than that, but you can see it's much. You can see how it'd perform a lot better if there was way more tiles to render. So the next part I want to show you now is actually getting it to render a little background for us. So let me go on to our, you can see where we have a window.fillColor.black. Well, instead of this, I don't want it to fill in black anymore. I want the background to show. So what I'm going to do is say, we're going to say here, at the top, what I want to do is actually load in our texture for our background. So for now, I'm just going to store it in this file. I know it's a texture, but it should really go in the textures file, but we can always move it later on if we need to. So what I'm going to do is just say sky equals pygame.image.load sky.png, and then what I'm going to do is say sky with a capital S equals pygame.surface, and we want to set this as sky.getSize. That'll get the size of our sky, and then we can just do pygame.hardwareSurface again, so we want it hardware accelerated, and pygame, no, actually we don't need the source alpha, it's fine. So that'll do for that, and then we can just say sky.blit sky to 0, 0, and then we can just delete the old sky. So delete sky with, make sure when you do delete sky, it's got a lowercase s. So really be so careful with our capitals and lower cases here. It really does matter. So now we've actually created the sky surface and hardware accelerated it. What I want to do is display that. Instead of filling it with black, let's display our sky. So I'm going to do window.blit sky with a capital to 0, 0. And now I want to run that. And as you can see, we have our sky texture. It's actually loaded. So, oops, what did I click there? Here we go. So we have our sky, but as you can see, it kind of looks a bit stupid because we can't move around yet. There's no actual camera, and what we need to do is build in a camera that can actually move us around, so we can like get around the place, if you know what I mean. So as you can see, it's starting to come to life a bit more. We've got textures loaded now, and obviously we can do this with any textures. We could add like a pathway going down here, and trees at the sides. But there's one very important thing we need to do that, and that's actually to make a map editor, because it's going to take us quite a lot of effort to code in the entire map. So we want to be able to do it much easier with a map editor. But I did actually make a map editor. I'll give you a quick show of that now, and this is what we're going to be making shortly in the tutorial series, probably. It's quite a complicated thing, but don't worry about it, because you can either download my pre-made one or do it whenever it's ready. Oh, wrong folder. Come in here, look, map editor. You can see we have a map editor. We can select tiles, move around this map, and it just starts you off with a default 100 by 100 map. And yeah, so this is my current map editor. I'm going to show you how you can make this, and if I can just remove some of these textures, you can see I can remove some of these tiles here, and I can let me replace it with stone or something. F2 to replace that with, oh, that's water actually. Forgot about that. But yeah, as you can see, we can make some water tiles here, and we could surround that with stone. So if I went and did that, to make a little wall or barrier, just put stone into there, and as you can see, we now have a little swimming pool or pond or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so that's what we're going to kind of do in our next tutorials series, is we can actually create our map editor after a few videos. We'll actually create this thing, and then you can see how it's actually all going together. So for now, I'm going to exit out of that, and I think that'll probably do for today's tutorial. And I'll in the next tutorial, I'll probably be showing you more about possibly the map editor. I don't know if I'm going to do it in the next one, because it's a very complicated part. And to give you an idea of how complicated, I'm going to show you the code for this. It is pretty complicated, because we have to set it as a compressed file and save the files, the map file. And then the next part is to actually not just making the map editor, but we have to make an engine which will load the map file, and that is complicated, as you can see. It took me a while to plan all this out, but yes, it's going to be a complicated thing to actually code in. And yeah, so thank you for watching the video, and we'll probably in the next video, I think I'm going to go more into coding up like a camera which we can position and move around, and it'll get more exciting after that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and please make sure to subscribe to get notified when we make new tutorial videos and other videos. So yeah, see you in the next video, guys.